On what interval is f of x equal to x times the natural log of x decreasing? So first thing is we need to figure out, okay, what's going on with the domain of this function? Well, we know that the domain of this function tells us that it cannot equal 0. We know that the natural log of x cannot equal 0, so therefore it has to be anything greater than 0. So the domain of this function goes from 0 to positive infinity. Okay, now let's find the derivative of this function. So f prime of x, okay, using the product rule, we have x times the derivative of the natural log of x, which is 1 over x, plus we have the derivative of x, which is 1, times the natural log of x. So therefore, f prime of x is equal to 1 plus the natural log of x. So we know that f prime of x is going to be less than 0 when we let 1 plus the natural log of x be less than 0. So now let's go ahead and solve. Well, if we subtract 1 to both sides, we get the natural log of x, which is less than -1. Now, if we rewrite this in exponential form, we know that this is the base, so x is going to be less than e to the -1. So this is the same thing as x, which is less than 1 over e. So therefore, we know that the function f is going to be decreasing between the value of 0 and 1 over e. Okay, so now we want to know on what interval is f concave upward. So in order to figure that out, we need to find the second derivative of the previous step. So we know that the derivative that we found from part A, or f prime of x, is equal to 1 plus the natural log of x. And what we want to do now is we want to find the second derivative. So we want to find f prime of x. Well, we know that the derivative of 1 is 0, and then the derivative of the natural log of x is 1 over x. Okay, now in order to know whether it is concave up, well, we know that this has to be greater than 0. And that means for when x is greater than 0. So therefore, we then know that the curve is concave upward on the interval where x is greater than 0, which goes from 0 to positive infinity.